Well, thank you. Thanks for letting me be with you. I didn't know that was such a long way down here. I didn't want to use my time walking in. Thank you for letting me be with you. I am a simple country doctor who one day decided to run for Congress, and since being here, I've immersed myself in healthcare policy. We hear about Obamacare. What's going to happen? Why don't the Republicans have any ideas? Why don't they come forward with things? Let me just give you a little bit of insight. On the Republican side, there is no shortage of ideas. One of the criticisms is maybe there's too many ideas and it's difficult to coalesce around one set of principles. Speaker Ryan has decided that we are going to have task forces developed that will develop what will be an alternative to the Affordable Care Act. Well and good. I'm okay with that. We also know within really just a few weeks' time, we're likely to have settled on a presidential candidate. And that individual will have very clear ideas of what they wish to do. But I'll tell you this, I was there when that darn thing passed. Not a single Republican voted for it when it came back over from the Senate. I do remember those town hall meetings of August of 2009. I remember them very clearly. And you go to those town hall meetings, and normally, I represent Denton, Texas. And Denton, Texas, in August, you'd be lucky to get 24 people out for a town hall on a Saturday morning. The Saturday morning I went to the Visual Arts Center of Denton, Texas, 2,000 people showed up. In fact, we had to move it from inside of the air conditioning to outside the parking lot in the sun because we didn't want to turn anyone away. I didn't want the news shows to say Congressman Burgess wouldn't listen to me on what I thought about this healthcare law that they're doing. I got to tell you, people were upset, and the thing they were telling us over and over again, loud and clear, is don't mess up what we have. And number two, if you're going to do anything at all, could you please help us with cost? Because that's what really concerns us. Now, the bill the Democrats passed and the president signed into law failed on both of those accounts. So where are we today? Now, let me just share with you something. Congress, deep in the recesses of the Affordable Care Act, Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi, when they wrote that thing, they kind of exempted members of Congress from having to do what everybody else in the country was going to do. So I said, I can't do that because my constituents are not very understanding. And if I take a special deal, they're going to let me hear about it. So I went into healthcare.gov and bought a policy in the individual market. It took me 3.5 months to sign up. Most miserable experience I've ever been through in my life. But I'll tell you, I did learn something. Now, these policies are unsubsidized, very expensive policies. More money than I've ever spent for health insurance ever. And they've got huge deductibles. I always had a health savings account, so I was used to big deductibles. I've never seen deductibles the likes of which were included in the individual market in Obamacare. So I set about trying to fix it for people who are in the individual market. You've got a high deductible policy, $6,000 for a deductible. You're only allowed to put $3,400 into your health savings account. Those two amounts should match up. I'm paying $700 a month for health care. If I were in an employer-sponsored plan, they would get a deductible. They would be able to deduct that from their income taxes. Let the individual deduct that as well and pay for that with pre-tax dollars. And then finally, since I do believe in health savings accounts, I need a catastrophic policy. I shouldn't have to break the bank in order to buy it. Let me buy that in a national market. Let's have some relaxation of the essential health benefits and have a true catastrophic policy. I'll cover everything else out of cash flow. I'm doing it anyway with a $6,000 deductible, and let's let that be the rescue mechanism. Now, going forward from here, what's going to happen, and largely is going to be driven by our presidential nominee. But I will tell you this, there are a number of good proposals out there. I think we need to carefully vet those on the House side, but for me, it's let's keep cost in mind. That's the number one thing. And if you don't get rid of the individual mandate, then you haven't done anything. Just imagine for a moment what it would be like if insurance companies had to market to you policies that you wanted, rewarded you for the kinds of healthy behaviors we all say we value. Instead, with the individual mandate, you've got to buy the policy, and it's going to get more expensive every year, but you can't do anything about it because there's a mandate. Get rid of the mandate, fix some of the other problems in the individual market, and then let's get to work on the rest of it. Thank you very much for letting me be with you.